Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to the Packernet Podcast. I am your host and resident panelist, as always, Ryan Schlip. Check us out online, packernet.com. Find me on Twitter, pack_daddy. Well, I just came across this that I thought was pretty interesting. Brett Favre blasts the NFL for no longer appealing to true fans. There's been a slight shift. I don't need to go through every single quote, and they definitely turn it more political than I would intend to, because I don't think it is. But I did find it interesting that at least I'm not alone in this feeling that, again, this is not a Bad Bunny thing. I mean, it kind of is, but you end up in frickin' politics anywhere you go. It's so hard to not step in it. When he says, or when I say true NFL fans, that's not a political party. It's just people that enjoy what the NFL is. And I think changing the NFL to appeal to people who currently don't like the NFL is a stupid strategy because it leaves you hollow and empty. What are you even presenting? You're not presenting the NFL. You're creating this mutant that is supposed to appeal to people in other countries and Swifties and all kinds of people that are choosing not to watch the NFL for whatever reason. I won't get political, but I will get religious for a minute. You see this all the time with a lot of churches. Rather than focus on what it is we're supposed to be focused on, we're so focused on everybody else that is not interested in coming in here that we're going to transform ourselves into something that makes us more appealing to the people that are out there. The problem is, once you get to the point of being appealing to them, you no longer are the thing that you started out to be. And so you've drawn them into what? Nothing. There's nothing left. That's my concern with the NFL. If you want to simply say, hey, here's what we are, we're this hardcore smash into people, cool frickin' thing, you should check it out. And even the traveling to other countries thing is not terrible as a way to bring extra exposure, because we think, hey, if people just see it, they'll like it. But what I don't like is changing it to make it more appealing to people that don't like the NFL. And I think that the biggest example of this has been the erasure of violence. They are terrified of the fact that certain people, large demographics of people, are very opposed to violence. And so we need to change who we are away from that. So I'm in favor. I think there's a lot of cool changes the NFL can make. I just don't like the ones that they end up making. Like I said, I'm ultimately fine with the kickoff thing because it's a great compromise. I think it's the one great example of the direction the NFL should go. You're genuinely concerned about safety. That's good. That's great. I don't genuinely believe that is the main driving force, but let's say that it is. I also think it's an extremely dangerous, slippery slope in which there is no resolution other than we just have to stop playing football if we just keep going down this path of no injuries are acceptable. But the great thing is they said, what if we could reduce the injuries and make it cooler? Heck yeah, bro. But they are in a mad dash to appeal every single person that does not. I mean, if you took a vote from all the people, let's say that were hardcore fans in like the 1990s. Sorry to some of you that are younger, but let's just say everybody that was a hardcore fan in the 90s, and you were to give them a poll on every single change that has been made, yes, we should do it, or no, we shouldn't, it would be 95% no. They are consistently doing what fans do not want. And it's not like Apple, where it's like, well, they don't know what they want, and then they create this thing that everybody thinks is stupid until you do it, and you give it to them, and they're like, this is great. It's kind of how I feel we are in this AI space right now. I don't know why so many people have no idea what's right in front of their face, but a lot of people don't. And it's like, okay, well, you'll see. That's fine. But again, it's not that. Because it's not like now that we get it, we're like, oh, it is better now. Nope, it's not. It's worse. It sucks. And we spend so much time complaining. I know complaining has always been a part of the NFL, but for those of you that are, 30 or older, can you remember back the amount of complaint? I never remember being this upset. There were a couple times a game where you're like, oh, what was that call? It was never like this. Every other freaking play is like, man, I hate these freaking refs, dude, so much. So anyways, wasn't intending on bringing that up. I just saw this last minute as I was grabbing some extra things. And I thought, hey, that's what I've been saying. there's a bit of a news dump, and this will happen once in a while when there's like a press conference or whatever, but a lot of Kansas City Chiefs news. Couple interesting points there. Number one, the Travis Kelce thing, obviously. The thought coming into this is that he's probably coming back, and it still kind of sounds that way. Says that there's communication, sounds, it's trending in that direction. I will say I'm starting to care less and less. This Kansas City thing it's falling apart a lot faster than they were able to put it back together. It's kind of shocking to me the lack of urgency they have at adding. I mean, I guess they have added some playmakers, but it's just kind of gone the wrong direction for various reasons. They can't stop bringing in people that break the law. But Travis Kelce his play is certainly declining as his age. He's 36 years old. So the Chiefs are just becoming less and less of a threat. On the talks about Tyreek Hill, which has been, a lot of people are assuming he's going there. I don't know why we would assume that necessarily. I mean, I guess I do know why, but I could absolutely see the Chiefs saying, heck no. There's some Twitter doctor that speculated Tyreek Hill might not even be able to play the entire 2026 season. I don't know if there's any truth to that. Tyreek Hill said he's playing, but either way, there's a lot of concerns about Tyreek Hill, his age, his injury status, whether or not he can return to his normal self, on top of off the field issues, and I wouldn't assume anything. They're also likely going to be losing Isaiah Pacheco. The Athletic's Jesse Newell believes that Pacheco will likely sign elsewhere this offseason. In addition, and I thought this was kind of interesting too, Jesse Newell also believes that their cornerback Jalen Watson is likely to be out of the Chiefs' price range. Since he's a corner, and that's something that we're going to be looking at, I thought it would be worth noting. He's 27 years old. He's a 7th-round pick, spent 4 years there. He hasn't been elite, but he's been solid. He's been at least Carrington Valentine good, I would say, especially as a 7th-round pick. This past year was arguably his best year. Coverage is a 68, which the last 3 years were 68, 72, 66. So, again, above average to good. But especially this last year, his run defense grade was an 84, tackling 77, pass rush was an 80, which he did 15 different times. So I don't know what his price tag is going to be. I can't imagine he's going to get a superstar contract. But depending on the direction we go with the corners we have, in addition to depending on his price, I'm not opposed to looking at Jalen Watson as a guy that could come over and at least kind of set a little bit of a higher floor for our team. A little bit more on the Bears. I got a couple more things I want to say. I had too much fun with that. First of all, I found this hilarious in the midst of all the controversy around Chicago and all the things that are going on. The Chicago Bears have announced they're going to be raising season ticket prices by an average of 13.5% for the 2026 season. It's their first postseason win in 15 years, and they jack prices 13.5%. Couple other points, just for context. They raised prices the previous year 10%. So we're talking, 23% or whatever that would be in 2 years. Over the last decade, the NFL's average ticket price raise annually is 3.8%. So again, as the Bears fans try to enjoy their first success, we'll call it, in a very long time, first playoff win in 15 years, they are basically at this point 100% moving out of Chicago, and their ticket prices have jumped exponentially in the last 2 years. But upon researching this, I come to find out something even funnier. After the Lions' successful 2024 season, they increased their prices 24%. And that was 2 years in a row they saw massive jumps like that. So Lions fans got hammered with really high ticket prices, and then the team started to spiral downward. You want to take a guess whether they're going to plummet their prices back down? And that's just on average. There was an article written where certain people were reporting their specific sections. Section 235 reported a 2-year increase of 175%. from $3,200 to $8,800. 244 reported a 2-year spike of 120%, $1,500 to $3,400. Anywho, this is freaking hilarious. So, I had a video, I still do, but this guy Burns, the real Burns 3 on Twitter, he's a Bears fan. He put out a video. I was going to play the video, and it turns out he's done quite a bit more than that. So I want to start with this video he made and then elaborate a bit. Yeah, I thought I freaking lost it. Here it is.
Chicago Bears are officially moving to Hammond, Indiana. And to be completely honest with you, at this point, I don't blame them. For the past over 5 years, the Bears have owned this massive chunk of land in Arlington Heights. They wanted to build there. For a second, they wanted to build a new stadium on top of the Soldier Field site in Chicago. Time and time again, when they tried to build a new stadium in the state of Illinois at multiple different sites, who gave them the middle finger every single time? The Illinois government. Don't know what I'm saying by that? Let me break it down. Kevin Warren and the Chicago Bears went to the Illinois government multiple times and said, hey, we are going to pay for this whole stadium ourselves. They sold off shares of the Chicago Bears, which they have never done before, to get more money to pay for the whole stadium themselves. They asked for two things out of the Illinois government. They asked for some help with the infrastructure cost. Obviously, when you build a new stadium, you're going to need roads, you're going to need plumbing, you're going to need garbage disposal, etc. In every single stadium project in the NFL over the past 15, 20 years, the state has covered that in every single scenario. Number two, the Bears said, hey, you are trying to tax us an egregious amount. Put it in perspective what egregious taxes mean. 5 times what the LA Rams are paying at SoFi Stadium. That's ridiculous. LA? 5 times more than LA? Bear said, hey, it doesn't have to be tax-free, but, help us out a little bit. This is unbelievable. They tried to get this bill passed for years. Then the state of Indiana, literally right across the border, comes along, and in the span of 2 months, they give the Bears 3 sites that they can build at. They say that you can build here completely tax-free. You will have 100% ownership of your own stadium. Obviously, that right there is a deal that the Chicago Bears just could not refuse. Maybe if we worked out a deal in the first year or two, the Chicago Bears would still be in Illinois. But instead, they'll be playing right across the border in Indiana. Great start to your presidential campaign, JB. Great start.
So that's what he said. What was this? I don't know, a day or two ago, maybe? Some guy pulled that off of his TikTok, which is why I couldn't find it. I'm looking at his Twitter. For some reason, he never posted it there. Anyways, apparently, he decided, I'm going to go to Hammond, Indiana. I'm going to go there. I'm going to see what's up with that. And so, scrolling through, it's quite funny. He said on February 19th, all right, I'm going boots on the ground in Hammond tomorrow. Let's see what we're working with. Here's one that says, closest bar to the stadium site, 3-minute drive, nice dive, pull tabs, $4 Miller Lite drafts. Again, hilarious, because everything that they have made fun of Packer fans for, you're now scouting dive bars. Well done. Here's one. The gasoline and factory smell in Hammond is worse than advertised. It's seriously horrible. Anyways, here's the Hammond train station across the street from some plant. Then he posts a video, Hammond, Indiana skyline versus Chicago skyline. The audio doesn't really do it any justice, but the Hammond skyline is just, entirely industrial, factory, gross. It's just nothing good. And so here are his thoughts.
All right, so we are
Keep in mind, he just said good. Go to Hammond. They should.
about to leave Hammond, Indiana. We're sitting outside of a Ross Dress for Less, a Dollar Tree, a Five Below, and a Walmart Supercenter over there. The honest take from being here, it's a nice town, very nice people. Everybody that we talk to, you can tell that this is a hard-working town with all of the factories and everything here. This is not a place for an NFL team, man. This cannot happen. This just can't happen, man.
All this nonsense on social media is nothing but it's not that big of a deal. It's right down the street. It's basically still in Chicago. Blah, 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 blah. Okay.
It's that bad, guys. I mean, we went and checked it out. It reeks of gasoline and factories everywhere. The Bears can't move here, man. Arlington Heights is way different. That is a way different conversation in a way different town. This can't happen. I can't believe that this is real.
So within like 24 hours of him saying, good, move to Hammond, they went and checked it out. He spent the day there and said, this is awful. Awful. And then there was this little doozy. Let me just play this and then we can move on.
This has a lot of people in Chicago up in arms. For me, I'm actually not that mad about it. I know I don't still live in Chicago, but I understand how awful it sounds to move a team that literally says for the pride of Illinois out of Illinois. But Soldier Field is notoriously one of the worst stadiums to get in and out of as a fan. It is horrible. There's nothing around it. And if you have to move 20 minutes up the road, albeit across state lines, to make the fan experience better, I'm fine with it. I'm done with the arguing. We've gone back and forth, Arlington Heights, the city of Chicago. If Hammond, Indiana is what's going to make everyone happy, we can move forward with this and make the fan experience better, I'm okay with it. Where do the Jets and the Giants play? They don't play in New York.
Tell them.
San Francisco 49ers don't play in San Francisco. They play in Santa Clara. I could keep going. The Rams, the Chargers, they don't play in LA. They play in Inglewood, and we're all fine with it. This is not that big of a deal. It's 20 minutes from Soldier Field. Make it right and make it good for the fans.
So what I love about all this, again, we're dealing with cope here. The only thing that they can do now, which is awesome, not only are they not going to be the Chicago Bears, they've decided that the best course of action is to trash their own city that they've been bragging about this entire time. It's actually not that good. It's crap. The traffic is terrible. It's one of the worst stadiums to try to get in and out of. There's nothing around it. It's freaking awful. Great. So it's awful, it's terrible, nobody likes it, and now you're the Indiana Bears. But you can keep the title. You keep the title Chicago, that's fine. But just to be clear, you're not in Chicago. And you will never be allowed to brag about Chicago again. Well, the Jets don't play in New York. Fine. And if a Jets fan wants to brag to me about the glories of New York, which they don't do, then I will tell them they're stupid and they play in New Jersey. But if all that matters is the title, then fine. We're no longer the Green Bay Packers. We're the Paris Packers. Okay? There you go. Now we're more cultured than you are. So, how about them apples? Chicago? Wow. Try Paris, buddy. Well, since anybody from anywhere can just take any label that they like, even if they're not in that area, fine. That's fine. So, this whole thing has been fantastic. The only thing left to do is to do exactly what Detroit did. Because they're dealing with this because they went to the playoffs, they won a playoff game, they beat the Packers, things are great, and they're of the belief that they're going to, from this point forward, be an elite football team. So they're dealing with it. Okay, we're probably going to be losing Chicago. But I beat the Packers, so beat the freaking Packers, boys. You know what I'm saying? If you take that from them, and they go back to being like third, which I'm really struggling to decide who should be fourth in the division. Every time I ask, like, okay, Detroit, you need to be last. They're last, and now the Bears are insufferable. It's like, okay, Detroit, how about you can move up a little bit and the Bears go back down? Because I can't decide. And Minnesota just feels like, I don't know, they're volunteering to be fourth, so I guess they get that spot. For up to me, they'd be second, but they just don't feel like it anymore. They're not interested in being successful, which is fine. Go ahead and suck. You go ahead. I don't care. Tell Kirk Cousins I said hi and I look forward to seeing you. But as soon as they fall apart, which you know, again, they're in the same situation the Lions were in. You had all the money and you had all the early draft picks, and now everything changes. Now you have to actually be successful with late round picks and no money. And all these old guys you went out and got to patch up your offensive line and everything, they're not sticking around. You got another year or two with those guys, so what happens now? Not to mention you got to build an entire defense that can win without, infinite interceptions all the time. So, best of luck. We just got to get back on top. And we need to play. I'm so freaking annoyed that we played like one divisional game in the first half of the season, and then after everybody got hurt, we had to play everybody like over and over and over and over and over again. If we had crammed the entire NFC North schedule in the first half of the season, we would have swept the NFC North. So no more of that bull crap. I'm sure week 1 is going to be a divisional game because that's what they feel like doing, but they love having all these divisional games at the end of the season. And so we need to be healthy and we got to figure this crap out. But I would like to play the Bears if we can. If week 1 against the Bears would be great. Actually, we don't have Micah Parsons. How about how about week 7 or something? 7 and 9. I don't care. I don't know when Mike is coming back. Anywho, let's take a break. We'll be right back. All right, so just a quick recap here. 2026, obviously, there's going to be a lot of international games. So far, we've learned about Melbourne, Australia. The Rams and 49ers are expected to play there. Mexico City, I believe the 49ers are expected to play there with another team to be determined. Dallas is expected to play in Rio de Janeiro. The Saints are expected to play in Paris, France. The UK, London, is expected to get 3 games. Jacksonville traditionally plays there, so that's one, but we don't really know who else. And then the 2 others that, as far as I know, we have no idea who's playing there. We have Munich, Germany, and Madrid, Spain. Well, WTMJ 620 had Mark Murphy on. Hold on. And here's what he had to say on this particular topic.
Among the inductees for the class of 2026, retired Green Bay Packers president and CEO Mark Murphy, who guided the Packers to historic growth over the course of nearly 2 decades, transforming Titletown into a community that just continues to grow. Mark, do you believe the Packers are going to have a game in Germany on the schedule this year?
Oh, boy. I think they probably do. Yeah. And that's obviously that's a huge priority for the league, international expansion and more games. And I think this year is going to be a league record. I think there's going to be, 7 last year, might be 8 or 9 this year. But I think within 3 or 4 years, there'll be 16 games played internationally. So every team will play one international game a year.
Do you think the move to have an international game for every team once a year will also coincide with an 18-game regular season?
That will be negotiated with the players, and I think I would put money on that will be part of the whole collective bargaining agreement. I think both of and again, it's an example where the international growth and 18 games, provides additional revenue for both the owners and players.
So that was kind of a big. I mean, it was so casual. Part of me wonders if it was just kind of a throwaway thing from Mark, or if he maybe didn't understand the question, or what. But otherwise, that's pretty, I guess, kind of big news. Obviously, some people have speculated it. I think if you had to pick one team that made a lot of sense for Germany, I don't know why it wouldn't be the sausage and cheese people that were built by Germans here in Wisconsin. But it sounds like, at least Mark Murphy is of the opinion, that there's a good chance the Packers will be one of those teams that will be playing in Germany, and it does make sense. I mean, you figure, even though it sounds like San Francisco might be in 2 of those, I don't know if that's correct or not. The Mexico one might be incorrect, but you can kind of remove some of these other teams and say, okay, who's left? You know, the Packers aren't going to be able to just say, we're not doing it. I mean, that's just not really a thing anymore. And you just heard Mark Murphy say, we are nearing the point where it's going to be probably 18 games and 1 international game a year per team. So, like it or love it or hate it or what, it's something you're just going to have to get used to. I think there's a lot of potential for this to be good. I obviously, look, how I started the show, concerned that, we're too focused on people that are not currently fans. I am absolutely in favor of the NFL expanding. I want more NFL fans, more Packer fans. I would love to have a huge contingent of people in Europe and South America, Central America, Canada, Mexico, Asia, whatever, Australia, lots of Packer fans. and NFL fans. It's all good. It's good for all of us. Start getting some more callers on Packernet After Dark from other countries. You know what I mean? Let's grow this thing. But, it has to be done very carefully and very cautiously. We don't want to burn out the players. Obviously, 18 games already potentially does that, which is why I've been saying we need to add 2 more weeks, one of them being an 18th game, and one of them being a bye week. That way everybody gets 2 bye weeks, one early-ish in the season, one late-ish in the season. That'll provide that extra rest to kind of make it so that, we could have 18 games and it would be presumably or potentially less wear and tear than what we have with 17 games because we're providing that second bye. So I think we should rush to that. It's just going to mean more revenue for the players, for the league. It's going to mean a lot more football and entertainment for us. It could mean a lot of have some health benefits. I mean, an additional game adds additional risk, no question. But I do think the extra time to heal and recoup and recover, to be able to do that twice a week or twice a season would be massively beneficial, especially if we're going to be doing this international stuff, because again, the wear and tear on all the flights and everything else, it also provides additional flexibility. If you have 2 bye weeks, it gives you a little bit, well, first of all, it gives you more weeks period to spread out international games so that it's not a higher percentage of the amount of time that you spend playing football is overseas. It's a smaller percentage because there's more weeks. You're just doing once over a larger pool of weeks. But in addition, with the additional bye weeks, you have more flexibility to offer games, centered around bye weeks, so that you can go overseas, come back, and have a bye week, and have that extra time to recoup and kind of get back into the swing of things. So I'm not opposed to it at all. I think it can be very, very cool. I'm definitely leery of it, and I understand it's not something I'm hardcore in favor of. So a lot of people that are just entirely opposed to it, I get it. But I think there's a lot of potential for this to be good if it's done in the right way. And I'm very excited to, really expand the pool of diehard NFL fans. And like we talked about before with, we haven't heard from our Brazilian friends in a while, but how cool it was to be able to send the NFL down to them to be able to enjoy the game. It is a pretty cool thing. Once a year for every team might be a little excessive, but again, it's all a part of the plan for growth, and we'll see. We'll see how good of a job they do balancing all this stuff. But keep your eyes open for a schedule release that includes the Green Bay Packers going to Germany this year. I did forget one Chicago Bears thing, and this is, we'll see how it goes, but it's all just trolly stuff that I love. Via Ben Devine, according to Hammond Mayor McDermott, the Chicago Bears are also considering moving Hallis Hall to the new stadium site in Northwest Indiana. And this just straight up ticked off a bunch of Bears fans. How dare you? There's no way they're not doing it. To their credit, they did just invest, I think, $100 million in 2023 to expand Hallis Hall. But it does kind of make sense. I know it's, just a 20-minute drive or whatever, but we're talking about a lot of, traffic and logistics and all that kind of stuff. Hallis Hall is the training facility. It's the headquarters. It would be kind of weird to have, everything like that in Chicago, but then the stadium would be, way over in Indiana. I say way over. I know it's not whatever, but it just seems like if you're going to do it, do it. If you're going to build out this facility, and there's talks about, they're going to essentially do like what the Packers have done with Titletown. They want to build up the entire area. They want to build all kinds of stuff out there. Well, wouldn't you want all of your stuff out there too? Your training facility, your headquarters? Of course you would. So we'll see. And they may not even move to Indiana. We don't know yet, but either way, keep an eye on what they end up doing with Hallis Hall. I think the Bears have already made comments about we're not moving Hallis Hall, but again, it's just another way to frickin' needle Bears fans about stuff. Just seeing this now, Lions are expected to make Jahmyr Gibbs the highest paid running back in the NFL with a new extension this offseason. Good. And again, Montgomery probably going out the door, so that duo is going to get split up, and Gibbs is now going to suck down on the cap. Again, this is all normal stuff. It doesn't mean you're going to be terrible, but it just means you're playing big boy football now. Now you got to pay all these big contracts, and we'll see what you can do. And so far, it hasn't gone great for the Lions. This is just another one that's going to be drawing down, which, by the way, they've been spending that money on free agents and to what degree? Who have they brought in free agency? I mean, they brought in Montgomery. That worked pretty well. But, I mean, like Reed and all the edge rushers and everybody else that they keep bringing in, it hasn't really been remarkable. Anywho, let's take our final break, and then we'll rip through some of the rest of this Packers news here, and we'll get up out of here. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. So as I mentioned, the Combine is right around the corner. The last 2 days on the NFL Draft show, we've looked specifically at the Combine. Number one, the guys that are expected to wow, and then number two, today for me, looking at the guys that have the most questions to answer. But the exciting part, or one of the other exciting parts, via... Well, at least this article here by Justice Mosqueda, Packers GM Brian Gutekunst will speak at the Combine on Tuesday. Matt LaFleur apparently won't be making the trip down to Indianapolis for the scouting combine next week, but General Manager Brian Gutekunst will, as he's scheduled to talk to the press on Tuesday. Gutekunst's scheduled time is 10:15 a.m. Eastern on Tuesday, the second earliest slot of the day, presumably to get it out of the way. They did talk about how they like the way that this is scheduled a little bit better. But it'll be good to hear from him, and what I'm just excited because I'm going to be listening to all the different press conferences to hear what people have to say. I'm going to be so freaking busy. I thought about doing a stream, but that's a terrible idea because I need to be available to just plug away at putting in the different notes and whatnot as they come in. Matt LaFleur not going to the Combine is not unusual. It's been kind of a thing for a while for the Packers and a lot of other teams to keep the coaches at home, essentially. Not that there's no value in them being there, but it just feels as though the value is better placed at home in Green Bay doing whatever it is he needs to do, off-season work, rather than what he could contribute at the Combine. So that'll be very cool. Then via Rob Domofsky, the Packers have hired Will Redmond as a college scout. Felt like I was having deja vu for a minute there because I was like, I feel like I started reading articles about it, and I'm like, I swear I've read this article, and I was so confused what was happening. I'm guessing this is more an announcement of what Will Redmond's job is, because we already knew this over a week ago. It was on the 10th that it was announced that he had been hired by the Green Bay Packers. So just as a quick recap, first of all, Will Redmond, not the football player, guy that was a former GM, did a lot of things in college football. And the main thing that I had talked about is the fact that there's a very rapidly changing landscape in college football with NIL and whatnot. And these guys not only have to scout high school players, they have to scout college players in the transfer portal and across college football, and including recruiting their own players on their own team to keep them there. So it's cool to have a guy with that level of aptitude. The surprising part is that he's just a college scout. I think the expectation, at least for me, and I know a lot of other people, has thought that it was going to be somewhat of a higher position. He was the GM at Auburn in 24 and 25. So to get Auburn's GM to just be some run-of-the-mill scout is a little surprising, I guess. But I suppose if your plan is to rise through the ranks in the NFL and eventually become an NFL GM, you take what's available to you. And then on the special teams front, the only name that's come up so far is that the Packers are interviewing Raiders special teams coordinator Tom McMahon, which I think I made a joke about that, if I'm not mistaken, that the Packers could hire another failed special teams coordinator from the Raiders. But yeah, I mean, he's a 56-year-old special teams coordinator that just got fired by the Raiders. So it's a match made in heaven, you know what I mean? As for the why, aside from, sarcasm, he does have experience with Brandon McManus. He also has ties to Jonathan Gannon. So there's a little bit there in terms of you could see people kind of maybe advocating. Another guy that has, great reputation. People really like him. So, I mean, legitimately, they might be looking for another, as I'm trying not to make it too hyperbolic and stupid, but I don't think they really wanted Bisaccia gone, and getting another Bisaccia, a guy that's very familiar with special teams. He's a special teams lifer. It's all he's done. He's got a ton of experience. He's very well respected. He's got experience with guys on the staff right now. None of that matters to me whatsoever, but it might matter a lot to the Green Bay Packers. I mean, obviously it matters somewhat because he's in the building being interviewed. But the Raiders special teams was a complete disaster in 2025. Multiple costly mistakes, including a blocked punt, missed field goal, tying field goal by Carlson in Week 9 in their loss to the Broncos. And Pete Carroll fired him the next day and then promoted assistant Darius Swinton. So he didn't even make it through the season because it was such a complete and total disaster. And actually, it looks like, in addition, Bill Huber reports here over at Sports Illustrated, Packers will interview ex-NFL linebacker for special teams coordinator, and that would be Kyle Wilber. He was a quality control coach on special teams for the former special teams coordinator, Rich Bisaccia. They have an unhealthy relationship and obsession with Rich Bisaccia. My goodness. I mean, are they relying on Bisaccia to run these interviews as well? Like, you tell us what to do here, Rich. Wilber and Bisaccia have been joined at the hip for years. From 2013 through 2017, Bisaccia was a Cowboys special teams coordinator, and Wilber was one of his top players. In 2018, Bisaccia became the Raiders special teams coordinator. Wilber followed Bisaccia, and they spent 2018 through 2021 together. In 2023 and 2024, Wilber worked beneath Bisaccia for the Packers. And then in 2025, Wilber was named assistant special teams coach for the Saints, who finished last on Sports Illustrated's special teams ranking. So there's that. And then, via Bill Huber on Sports Illustrated, coach who led NFL's number 1 ranked special teams emerges as Packers candidate. Oh, hallelujah. Cameron Akerd, who once led the NFL's best special teams, is among the candidates to replace Rich Bisaccia as Green Bay Packers special teams coordinator, so source told Packers on Sports Illustrated. In 2020, then New England Patriots coach Bill Belichick promoted this guy's name to special teams coordinator after the former coordinator, Joe Judge, became head coach of the New York Giants. During the first season, this guy's unit ranked number 1 in Rick Gosselin's annual special teams ranking and number 4 on the Packers on Sports Illustrated ranking. I don't know why it has to be called that. He led New England special teams from 2020 through 2023 in Gosselin's rankings. The Patriots fell to 18th in 2021, 16th in 2022, 13th in 2023. He was not retained when the Patriots hired Gerard Mayo to replace Belichick in 2024. He spent the last 2 seasons as the Giants' assistant coordinator. According to the Sports Illustrated rankings, the Giants were 20th in 2024 and 9th in 2025. When the Patriots promoted him, he got an overwhelming endorsement from longtime Patriots special teams star Matthew Slater. He said, assuming that's the direction Bill Belichick wants to go, I'm really confident in Cam. He is a bright young coach who really relates well to players, but has the players' respect. I think he did a great job this year. He had some added responsibility. I think he did a great job of handling it. Conceptually, he understands how the team wants to play. He understands the skill set of the players have and putting them in positions to have success. He did a good job. Learned from Joe and Bill. I think he's equipped to do the job if numbers get called. So these are not initially the names that any of us had thought of. And, it's exactly what I said was going to happen. We're going to have a huge list of here's a massive pile of people we would all be to some degree satisfied with. And then they're going to hire somebody else, and we're going to think, well, freaking darn it. No, you don't understand. He's just like Bisaccia. It's like, yeah, I do understand, bro. I very much understand. But whatever, we'll see how it goes. That's just, as of right now, the names that have slipped through the cracks. Not that these are necessarily being publicly released, so it's possible they've had many more interviews and things beyond this, and we just don't know what the situation is. But we'll keep an eye on it, see how it goes, and hopefully our special teams can improve. With that, I'm going to get out of here, and I will talk to you all later. Have a good one. Bye-bye.